Hello everybody and welcome back to the reading channel. I'm going to be reading Knightley and Son by Rohan Gavin. Before I do this, can you please subscribe and like? Thank you. Let us begin. Prologue. No exit. It was a 2-packet digestive problem, probably even 3. And tonight, of course, he only bought a single club biscuit, which he had consumed over 15 minutes ago. The new diet was doing little for his generous waistline, and even less for his powers of concentration. Uncle B, also known as Monchail Biglock, from the Department of the Unexplained, rummaged around in the depths of the coat pocket for any morsels that might have eluded him, finding only one wood glove coated in breadcrumbs and lacking a significant other. He gave up, rubbed his hands together against the cold, blew a pumic of smoke from the cigarette of his teeth, and continued lumbering stride along the brightly lit Victoria Embankment, with the River Thames glittering dark below. And still his search had produced nothing, no evidence of the rumoured subterranean tunnels that led from village's secret bunkers down under Down Street tube station. The Everin would be escapes to the river. No mysterious arches or doorways indoors. Bill leaned over the stone railing, looking down towards the water, finding no footprints in the city mudflakes, no secret moorings where speedboats might have laden rain. There were no clues whatsoever. He began to think that this routine was the exact routine. He was also starting to question the wisdom of his young-time college and pal, Private Iron Knightley, who had suggested this full errand in the first place. If Alan's courage come turned mortal enemy, Martin Underwood, had somehow escaped from the tube tracks 3 months ago, if it would be anyone's guess where he was now. Also missing were Underwood's colleagues from the sinister crime organization known as the Combination. Orson foe that had cast a long shadow over London with its almost supernatural feats of evil and corruption. The one cousin was that Iron, 13-year-old son, Darkest Knightley, was half as capable as a detective as he had proved on his first case. He would no longer doubt be following his own lines of inquiry, with the help of that unusual stepsister T, of course. He wanted to find out the combination for her own reasons, to avenge her mother's death. Uncle Bill set aside those thoughts and ambled on a past House of Parliament, which were wrapped in the treaty mist, their faces tinted orange by the floodlights. As they walked under the street lamp of Parliament Square, his massive form with the Homburg hat at its apex cast it upon a nearing planetary shadow over the surroundings. As if on cue, Big Ben began striking midnight, reverberating into the heavens and beyond. Billy proceeded through the square, navigated 2 pedestrian crosses, and found himself on the bank of the river wall, which was now by deserted. A few passing lorries and minor cabs were the only signs of life. Those and enormous London eyes watched in silence and ominously from the other side as the restless water. Bill raised his collar and pressed on, feeling a twig in his knee from the nasty spill he had suffered on Knightley's last investigation. Hopefully, any future cases would be less physically taxing, and less taxing on the already stretched finances of his Illinois and Illinois Fort Department of Scotland Yard. Bill reminded himself by the time he reached the Millennium Bridge, he could, in good conscience, hail a cab, return to his modest and comfortable apartment in Purity, and gain access to his secret refreshment cupboard. As Billy reached this idea, he heard a loud click on the pavement behind him. It sounded metallic, like a steel nail favouring on the pavement with a single strike. But when he turned around, there was nothing there. The dim shadows of the bright street lights and the trunks of trees extended evenly into the distance. Uncle Bill hesitantly removed the cigar from his teeth and examined the scene once more, then continued to walk along the river walk with a slightly more urgent stride. His wandering shadow would have been shambolic were if not for his surprising speed. Billy glanced at the road running alongside him, but of course at this moment there were no vehicles in sight. Before he could open his mouth to curse, the kick returned again, as clear as day, like a heavy pin dropping. This time, Billy spun around with incredible stealth, hoping to catch the culprit in the act. I am, Andy. Yeah, old Bonton, he blurted in his almost thick Scottish accent. There was still nothing there, except for a small pair of twinkling eyes, approximately 50 meters in his wake. The eye hovered around a meter off the ground, then darted behind the tree. Wait, you mad daffy! Bill turned behind, trying to act casual, and Ambrose, puffing up smoke into the sky. As the mist parted for a moment, he could make out perfectly full. That's my luck. At this moment, he was interrupted by a howl so loud they initially assumed for a boating horse somewhere in the Thames, but instead of the front motor tone, hit the sound into a farewell which sent the hairs on Billy's back, and there was a generous amount of it standing on end. And from the guttural rattle of the beast, it sounded even hungrier than Billy was. Billy took to his heels, which in this case a pair of orthopedic loafers, which were designed for comfort and support, not for running, and he hurtled headlong down the centre of the river walk under the light of the moon. Behind him, the metallic kick on the pavement became a clatter as the sharp claws of the beast accelerated to a gallop. Its eyes, unblinking, focused on its prey. Billy waved his arms at a passing car, but the driver failed to notice him through a row of tree trunks. All failed to care. Leonard and I continued to watch indifferently across the river. The metallic clatter raced up behind Bill, and knowing he had no chance of outrunning it, he turned around to face his enemy. His arms spread wide, intent he was then to hug it. What there? There's nothing there, just a dim of the street lamp capturing an empty stretch of a river. Greg knew out. His cheeks were relief and took a hasty tug on his cigar. Then he turned back, and then he discovered a low, muscular shape blocking his way. Vapor trails rolling from his nostrils. It was a miserable tussle as the drone line. It was a dog or sukan, or a wolf. The animal dropped his jaws in slow motion with half a dozen glistening strings of saliva stretching between the lower mandible and the upper maxillary bone, like a slippery and lethal music instrument. Its body was in pitch black, but its coat shone with youth and virility, even through the darkness. Its antonym was ripped off with young muscles that Billy could not even identify. Its jaws opened wider, and its thin black lips rolled back to reveal two long rows of perfectly symmetrical and impossible sharp teeth. Instead of a howl, the animal emerged a series of mythic grunts, as if it was delivering some sort of funeral eulogy. Billy puffed off his chest in a primary fight or flight response. Puffs of smoke escaped his cheeks as he tore the cigar from his mouth and waved dim embers into the direction of the beast to ward it off. Needless to say, it had a profoundly ill effect. Hang out fast, he warned before tossing the cigar over his shoulder, scenting now to be no further use. Billy desperately searched his deep coat pockets for any weapon or tailments to save him. Incredibly, his fingers deflected the corner of which found like a torn chocolate wrapper, a rogue penguin biscuit, if he's not mistaken. Mounting a poker face, Bill eased a half-eaten biscuit into his grasp, and for a few millisecond he did in fact consider eating it, but then he thought better of it, and quickly yanked it out of his pocket and threw it in the opposite direction. The canine's instincts were confused for a split second as his eyes followed the tree, and Bill darted around the beast, using a tree trunk for cover. Ha! Billy managed as he counted down further in the wiggle. He may be a goner, but at least he wasn't going down without a fight. The metallic cannon of the creature's claws started up with a vengeance, accompanying the river and Moo's growl, indicating that the prize would be all the more sweet for his minor setback. Billy's hat flew off as he ran, his version of the Olympic sprint. The same shot shape of the Millennium Bridge loomed ahead of him, stretching over the waters. It was rather the end goal, and now Billy sensed It was a matter of life and death. As the awful dog over covered the distance, the sudden aerobic exercise had the odd side of effect and clearing his mind. Who could have set these spits on him? No idea. Bill had enemies, but he was more cat than field agent. How could someone have tracked him? By smell, of course. Something Bill had presently survived. Smell. Smell was what he had to get rid of, of himself, and fast. Bill reached the entrance of the bill and ran up the walkway, his chest heaving and his overcoat flapping in the wind, the curve raising and the outer suspension beams extended on either side of him, with the water bubbling menacingly low. He managed to get 50 meters across the bridge when he felt the warm breath of the beast on the back of his metal calf. He turned to face the enemy once more. The dog was almost smiling, its sick coat glowing in the mist. Playtime was over, and dinner time now. And Bill presented a buffet spread of perseverance. "All right, beastie," he wheezed. The dog hissed through his bath breath. "Cheer on for now." Bill grabbed, holding off the reins, and hoisted himself over, tearing on the edge for a few seconds like the side of beef on a butcher's scale. The dog leapt up at him and bit, tearing away a piece of calf flesh and cording. But gravity was on Bill's side, and with another small bud, the full bug toppled over the edge of the rein. Somehow, Bill had the forethought to tuck his knees against his belly, as close as his physics would permit, then wrap his arms around him, forming a human cannibal as he hit the freezing surface of the Thames, ejecting a towel of water into the air in his wake. A bystander on dry land described the scene as similar as a small car being dropped into a lake. Bill instantly vanished underwater, his entire form being swallowed up by the river. Within moments, the towel of the water evaporated, and the flames returned to its worthless foe, leaving no trace of him. The dog watched from the bridge, whined with abject and disappointment, then trotted back across the walkway and into the night. Thank you for listening to me. We got to page 9 over here. I'm going to do part 2 very soon, so make sure you like and subscribe, and see you later. Bye.